When mind is still, then truth gets her chance to be heard in the purity of the silence. Our actual enemy is not any force exterior to ourselves, but our own crying weaknesses, our cowardice, our selfishness, our hypocrisy, our purblind sentimentalism. Perfect health, sincerity, honesty, straightforwardness, courage, disinterestedness, unselfishness, patience, endurance, perseverance, peace, calm, self-control, are all things that are taught infinitely better by example than by beautiful speeches. The first principle of true teaching is that nothing can be taught. A quiet mind does not mean that there will be no thoughts or mental movements at all, but that these will be on the surface, and you will feel your true being within, separate from them, observing but not carried away. In order to see, you have to stop being in the middle of the picture. The whole world yearns after freedom, yet each creature is in love with his chains. This is the first paradox and inextricable knot of our nature. When reason died, then wisdom was born. True knowledge is not attained by thinking. It is what you are. It is what you become. Each victory gained over oneself means new strength to gain more victories. Live within. Be not shaken by outward happenings. The divine truth is greater than any religion, or creed, or scripture, or idea, or philosophy. Peace is the first condition, without which nothing else can be stable. Evolution of consciousness is the central motive of terrestrial existence. Love is the keynote, joy is the music, knowledge is the performer. The infinite all is the composer and audience. What is God after all? An eternal child playing an eternal game in an eternal garden. Remember that you are at an exceptional hour in a unique epoch, that you have this great happiness, this invaluable privilege of being present at the birth of a new world. Trust the divine power, and she will free the godlike elements in you, and shape all into an expression of divine nature. He who chooses the infinite has been chosen by the infinite. Life is life, whether in a cat, or dog, or man. There is no difference there between a cat or a man. The idea of difference is a human conception for man's own advantage. The consciousness of the seer is a greater power for knowledge than the consciousness of the thinker. The perceptual power of the inner sight is greater and more direct than the perceptual power of thought. There is nothing small in God's eyes. Let there be nothing small in thine. The cup has to be left clean and empty for the divine liquor to be poured into it. One who loves God finds the object of his love everywhere. The practice of yoga brings us face to face with the extraordinary complexity of our own being. One mighty deed can change the course of things. A lonely thought becomes omnipotent. Detachment is the beginning of mastery. By your stumbling, the world is perfected. Our human knowledge is a candle, burnt on a dim altar, to a sun vast truth. The mind has these four levels: physical, vital, body, higher mind. The supermind is far above these. If a religion is not universal, it cannot be eternal. A narrow religion, a sectarian religion, an exclusive religion can live only for a limited time and a limited purpose. Impossibility is only a sum of greater unrealized possibles. It veils an advanced stage and a yet unaccomplished journey. The supreme state of human love is the unity of one soul in two bodies. The existence of poverty is the proof of an unjust and ill-organized society, and our public charities are but the first tardy awakening in the conscience of a robber. What the soul sees and has experienced, that it knows. The rest is appearance, prejudice and opinion. Yoga is a generic name for any discipline by which one attempts to pass out of the limits of one's ordinary mental consciousness into a greater spiritual consciousness. To doubt the experience is to discourage it. Let it be developed, see what is in it. When we have passed beyond knowings, then we shall have knowledge. To hope for a true change of human life, without a change of human nature, is an irrational and unspiritual proposition. Sit in meditation, but do not think. Look only at your mind. You will see thoughts coming into it. Before they can enter, throw these away from your mind, till your mind is capable of entire silence. All existence is a manifestation of God. The only work that spiritually purifies us is that which is done without personal motives. Arise, transcend thyself. Thou art man, and the whole nature of man is to become more than himself. Watch the two indignantly righteous. Before long you will find them committing or condoning the very offense which they have so fiercely censured. Be conscious first of thyself within, then think and act. All living thought is a world in preparation. All real act is a thought manifested. The material world exists because an idea began to play in divine self-consciousness. Turn all things to honey. This is the law of divine living. The spiritual path is one of falling on your face, getting up, brushing yourself off, turning and looking sheepishly at God, and then taking the next step. There is nothing mind can do that cannot be better done in the mind's immobility and thought-free stillness. When mind is still, then truth gets her chance to be heard in the purity of the silence. The fly that touches honey cannot use its wings. So too the soul that clings to spiritual sweetness ruins its freedom and hinders contemplation. Sin and virtue are a game of resistance we play with God in His efforts to draw us towards perfection. As in all infant sciences, the universal habit of the human mind to take a partial or local truth, generalize it unduly, and try to explain a whole field of nature in its narrow terms, runs riot here. Moreover, the exaggeration of the importance of suppressed sexual complexes is a dangerous falsehood. A great thing would be done if all these God visions could embrace and cast themselves into each other. But intellectual dogma and cult egoism stand in the way. To listen to some devout people, one would imagine that God never laughs. All thoughts, desires, conventions, attachments which come from outside must be ruthlessly pushed away. Outside and above the mind, there is the play of a consciousness which is lighted by the higher truth, but man is not conscious of it, and of that he has to be conscious. Suffering makes us capable of the full force of the Master of Delight. It makes us capable also to bear the utter play of the Master of Power. Pain is the key that opens the gates of strength. It is the high road that leads to the city of beatitude. Genius discovers a system. Average talent stereotypes it till it is shattered by fresh genius. The great are strongest when they stand alone. A God-given might of being is their force. Care not for time and success. Act out thy part, whether it be to fail or to prosper. A thought is an arrow shot at the truth. It can hit a point, but not cover the whole target. But the archer is too well satisfied with his success to ask anything farther.